Arcana Duello Tutorial. At the start of the game, choose one from the 3 characters to use, and take out the accessories needed for that character from the box. Also, take out 2 decks of playing cards, 6 standard 6-sided dice, 2 20-sided die. Once these materials are ready, players can officially begin the game. Arcana Duello Turn Procedure. After deciding who goes first, the player who goes first draws the number of cards indicated on their character card -2. The player who goes second draws the number of cards indicated on their character card without subtracting 2. This game has 2 phases and a turn: the main phase and the end phase. When it's your turn, you enter the main phase. You can place the cards from your hand into the energy slots next to the skills for charging. When you have completed all your actions for the turn, you can declare the start of the end phase, draw the number of cards indicated on your character card, and then it's the opponent's turn. The game will continue until the health points of a player reach 0. Charging means placing a hand card into the charging slot. Be mindful, if there is already a card in that charging slot and it has a specific suit, a card of a different suit cannot be placed in that slot. Different skills have various charging effects. For instance, with this skill, when you charge with a hand card, you can draw 1 card. Please note that each charging effect can only be activated once per turn, and whether the conditions for the charging effect are met is calculated independently each turn. For example, this charge to draw 1 effect is only valid if you can place 2 cards on it within the same turn. Also, pay attention to the charging restrictions of the skill, which means the maximum limit of charging per turn. For example, with this skill, you can only place 1 card in the charging slot per turn. Using skills. To activate a skill, players must take cards from the charging slots that match the number indicated for that skill. 1 card is placed into the signature skill slot, and the remaining cards go to the discard pile to trigger the effect. Note that, aside from skills with a defensive effect, players can only activate 1 skill per turn. A star symbol next to a skill indicates that there are specific conditions that must be met to activate it, which the players need to be aware of. Damage calculation. The most common types of damage are fire and attack. Fire damage: this type of damage cannot be avoided and is considered direct damage. However, keep in mind that fire damage cannot reduce a player's health below 1. Attack damage: for an attack, both players use dice, covering them with their hands. Based on the attack value indicated, players choose a number within that range. Once decided, both reveal their numbers simultaneously. If the numbers differ, the defender suffers the attacker's dice value as damage. If the numbers match, the defender successfully blocks the attack. When taking damage, players need to adjust the number displayed on a 20-sided die to reflect their new health total. Alternatively, a smartphone or calculator can be used for tracking. Defense. Within some skills, players have the opportunity to use them in response to an opponent's attack. The defense value indicated on the skill provides a numerical reference point for how much defense is added. For example, a 1 defense means that the player can use an additional die to counter 1 die from the attacker, increasing the likelihood of successfully defending against the attack. Signature skill. Players charge their signature skill by using other skills. In order to activate signature skill, they must discard a number of cards from the signature skill charging slots equal to the number indicated for the signature skill. After discarding the requisite number of cards, they then execute the effect of that signature skill. In the main phase, players are free to perform actions in any order they choose. There is no predetermined sequence for executing actions. This flexibility allows players to strategically decide the sequence of their moves. A helpful tip is to keep in mind that different sequences and choices can lead to vastly different outcomes in terms of power and effectiveness. Players should consider their strategy and the potential impact of their actions in order to maximize their effectiveness during their turn. In addition to the basic symbols mentioned earlier, each character in the game has its unique symbols and characters that define their special abilities and traits. For detailed information on these unique characteristics and how they interact within the game's rules, please refer to the instruction manual.